So shame or embarrassment. You may be struggling with your own internalized homophobia or shame about your sexual orientation or gender identity. And your abusive partner may attempt to use this shame to exert power and control over you. They may try to make you feel guilty about yourself by calling you names that play on sexuality and gender insecurities. So something like that would be like, oh, you're not man enough, or you're not woman enough. So that can really like damage the person. They may pressure you into sexual acts that you're not comfortable with by saying that's what's normal in your kind of relationship. And that really happens with first-time relationships. Maybe someone's not really, again, comfortable with being in the relationship, or it's their first time being out, and they're not used, they're just not comfortable. So the abuser may take on. So fear of not being believed or taken seriously. You may worry that if you report abuse, you will encounter common stereotypes from others. So violence is neutral. Abuse doesn't occur in lesbian relationships. Only the physically bigger partner can be abusive. So your partner may exploit this fear, trying to convince you that no one will take an LGBTQ victim seriously. Fear of retaliation, harassment, or rejection. If you are not yet out to everyone, your abusive partner may threaten to tell your secret to people who will make your life more difficult once they know. You may also fear that seeking help will make you a target of public ridicule, retaliation, harassment, or bullying from others around you. Your abusive partner may exploit these fears to isolate you and keep you in the relationship. So, good intentions. As part of the LGBTQ community, you may fear that disclosing the abuse will make everyone look bad. So, like the reputation of the community as a whole. Your partner may even use this against you, making you feel guilty for getting your help. So an example, if your partner is not out yet, they may tell you that you can't report the abuse without breaking the trust of everyone in your group. Less legal protection. You may be unaware that you have legal options for protection, including obtaining a restraining / protective order. Now, this is a big obstacle for anyone really, because not too many people are aware that you can get a restraining order. Although laws vary from state to state, and some specifically restrict restraining orders to heterosexual couples, most states have a gender-neutral law that do not discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation. And loss of community. You're part of a religious community or a traditional family, you may worry that disclosing your relationship, let alone the abuse that you're experiencing, may make the situation worse. Also, in your small LGBTQ community, you may feel like there is nowhere to turn for support or help yet.
So real quick, before we move on, can someone tell us what is the biggest fear of the LGBT community when they're in a relationship?
It's just like letting their secret out.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that point got across, because I know we're just throwing some facts at you. Just want to wake you guys up a little bit.
When it comes to males and abusive relationships, it's very similar to the effects that you would see from members of the LGBTQ. In abusive relationships, there's a lot of shame, and this includes straight males being abused in relationships by females. As you can see, it says 1 in 7 men over the age of 18 in the U.S. have been victimized of the victim of severe physical violence by an intimate partner in his lifetime. Men are socialized not to express their feelings or see themselves as victims. They're afraid that it'll be treated as less serious or a joke. I think we see this on the news sometimes. You know, you hear of male high school students having sexual relations with a female teacher. It's taken a little less serious. We tend to see the way the news plays it up as a little less serious, or we don't hear about it at all. This is kind of I feel like it makes men feel that they are unable to open up about their feelings. As a peer counselor myself, in the training we had to go talk to a peer counselor to see what the situation would be like. And I had to talk to a male peer counselor, and it was very difficult at first to show any emotion towards it. You don't want to let people know certain feelings or emotions you think it might make you feel less manly. That's the way they would put it in society. And so that is a huge problem with men. It's not taken very serious, and they're afraid to let their emotions out. All right, next I'm going to talk about consequences of staying in an abusive relationship. So it says approximately of women and 11.5% of men in the U.S. have experienced contact sexual violence, physical violence, or stalked by an intimate partner, and had their lives severely affected by the relationship. Below, I have a list of the possible ways it could affect the relationship. The first one on there is physical. I think we all understand that one. The physical, it can be things like in long term. You can actually have things like joint disease or chronic pain syndrome. Things like that can actually last a good stretch of time. It's not just a broken bone or anything like that. It can actually last your life if the abuse goes on for too long. There's reproductive injuries that you can actually have. This can actually make it possible or impossible for you to have children in the future, especially victims of sexual abuse. And it can also affect if you are able to get pregnant and you are pregnant at the time. It can cause premature delivery, and it can also cause the child to have to die. Psychological abuse or psychological consequences can be anything from depression, anxiety. You can experience PTSD from the relationship. These types of things also will follow you, or it could easily follow you for the rest of your life, especially if you don't receive any type of counseling or treatment for it. You can have trouble sleeping, have issues with flashbacks, replaying any assault or abuse in your mind over and over, and it can really affect your self-esteem, especially depending on how you were abused. Socially, it pretty much can, it has listed that you can even become as far as homeless. You're unable to find jobs if it's affecting you so much. You can have strained relationships with family and friends, especially if the relationship that you were in was very restricting and controlling. A lot of times you can lose touch with a lot of people, and a lot of people may not take you back, especially friends who don't understand. And then health behavior, you can actually, I think people wouldn't be surprised to hear that a lot of people that were in abusive relationships either before or still are, may start to abuse things like cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, in order to numb the way they're feeling or in order to escape any of the psychological trauma they're experiencing. They can also have issues with eating disorders, especially if it affected their self-esteem. They may think that they're undernourished and they develop anorexia or bulimia. Okay, so this one is kind of it's a tough slide, I think, for a lot of people to look at. A lot of times if you were to ask anybody, why do people abuse, I feel like a lot of people at times would kind of act like, who cares? They're an abuser, they're evil, they're whatever. They don't really care what it is that's causing the abuser to be the person that they are. I think it's very important to actually get to know the reasons why. It can help people in the future. As you can see, the very top one is learned as a child. A lot of people aren't really born evil. Any child can be experiencing this. Like the first one says, being abused or witness of abuse. A lot of times, if a child is grown up with, especially parents abusing them, it sort of becomes a norm for them. I remember I used to babysit a small child, and his parents would fight pretty bad his entire life. They would sometimes would get physical. They would yell at each other a lot. And I remember when I would babysit him, if he ever heard any type of an argument, no matter how small it was going on, or if he got into a little argument with somebody, it would always result in him throwing things, cursing, language that he shouldn't already know at that age. And he thought that was completely normal. He learned it from his parents. And so if it's not addressed as a small child, that can carry on into adulthood, where you can bring it into relationships where you think it's okay to be this way. Not wanting to be the victim is another one. I think, of course, no one wants to be a victim, and someone who experienced child abuse, I imagine you might think they would shy away from relationships, not be very trusting. These are things that can happen, but something that can lead to someone being abusive themselves is they have a fear of being a victim, so they themselves, they more want to be, not want to be the abuser, but they want to be the dominant person in the relationship, so that they can't hurt, and this can result in them being very controlling in the relationship. It's sort of replacing their parents who abuse them with themselves. They want to make sure that they're the one on top and not ever experiencing anger issues, I'm sure we all know somebody that has issues with anger or rage or something small like that, road rage, but you can have severe anger issues that cause you to behave this way and abusive towards someone. These issues can be things like you can have any type of personality disorder, or another example would be intermittent explosive disorder. There are a long list of disorders you can have that cause anger issues to arise, and these issues are brought on by other reasons. It can be abuse, it can be anything from their childhood. But instead of them just trying to be an abusive person towards their spouse, it's just a result of their anger that they're feeling and their inability to control it. Substance abuse also falls under this. So pretty much, I think we all know when you take certain substances, it can affect your behavior. You're unable to control yourself. So someone who is on a substance, they can become violent. Possibly it also depends on how much or what they're taking or on. Also, people who are addicted to certain things, it can begin to affect the way they think. They can become desperate. If they are having withdrawals, it can cause mood disorders. So pretty much their behavior could become very violent towards a loved one in their life, especially someone that they're living with or in a relationship with. The last one is empathy deficit. Who here knows what empathy is as compared to like sympathy? Anybody can explain what empathy is?
Empathy is when you put yourself in their shoes, sympathy is feeling sorry for them.
Yeah, exactly. So to have the ability to actually think about the situation that the person is in, instead of just saying like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least you know blank, at least it's not like this, or, empathy is really just thinking like, putting yourself in the shoes and really feeling what they're feeling, and some people can have a deficit. And they can come from different reasons. They can come from brain defect or brain damage. It's actually, there's research on people who have committed like serious criminals. Once they have passed away, they've done autopsies and found brain damage to certain parts of their brain, whether it be when they were born, or injuries that caused when they were children, serious head trauma, and damages to parts of their brains that help them experience empathy or emotion. So some people can be born with an ability to really experience emotions from others. You can also have undeveloped empathy due to abuse. That kind of goes back to child abuse. Someone who was abused severely, had severe trauma as a child, they can kind of have an undeveloped emotional capacity. It would sort of come off as a cold emotionally. They might come off as that, and they just have an ability to connect with other people emotionally. So if someone was feeling sad or they were causing pain, they may not exactly understand it.
So what you're saying, real quick, I think it's really important as we're talking about some of these factors that play out in violent relationships, that what you're talking about is kind of the larger context in dealing with factors from family and childhood development and social and things like that. So we don't want to look at any one of these and say, well, okay, someone with anger issues, that is somebody who's going to be a perpetrator of intimate partner violence. You have to look at it in the context of the bigger picture. And actually, often, someone who is just dealing with anger issues, that anger might kind of come out in all these different places. Whereas someone who is a perpetrator of intimate partner violence, you would expect more that that person can control themselves in social settings, but in the context of the relationship, that's when that anger comes out. So I think all of these are great things to think about and really important to understand this problem on a larger scale. But I just want to caution you from like looking at one or two and saying like, okay, well this is.
We're going to move on to why do people stay. I think a lot of nowadays people have become more accepting. We've had situations like there's been a lot of famous people who come out and said why they were in abusive relationships, why it was difficult to leave them. So it's becoming a little bit more, we feel a little bit more connected and a little bit better understanding why. But I think there's a lot of reasons people still can't fully grasp, and a lot of times if you may see someone, or people may see someone they know in an abusive relationship and they can't fully understand why they would stay in one. So these are a few explanations as to why. The first section I have is emotional reasons as to why they would stay. I have fear of the abuser who threatens to kill the victim if the abuse is reported to anyone. I think that one's, I think we can understand that one. That one, they have like a fear, if they've been abused for a long period of time, especially violent abuse, physical abuse, you kind of would start to develop this fear of they actually have harmed me a lot in the past. You wouldn't find it far-fetched that they would harm someone that you know. So threats against killing a victim or someone that they know. That seems very realistic to them, and that can make them feel like they physically can't leave or else something bad will happen to them. The next one is feeling helpless, hopeless, or trapped. Another reason why people have somewhat of an okay time understanding the absolute hopelessness that comes with abuse is if a person is being abused for a long period of time, again, and this can happen over a short period of time also, and they haven't received any help, or they start to feel that no one is reporting it to them or anything like that, they can start to feel that they won't receive help. Maybe they think that someone has seen them being abused, or they should have sensed it already and no one said anything, and so they start to feel like no one cares, or that no one can help them, and they feel that there's really nothing they can do about it. They're just stuck here, no one cares, and that can be, it can make them feel very hopeless, make them feel like there's nothing they can do about it. Feeling responsible for the abuse. That one can definitely come from a long time of having like self-esteem torn down and made it feel that it was your fault that you were there. If an abuser has made you feel that they may think I'm an idiot, I keep messing up, or I keep doing this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm the reason for the abuse. Especially if the abuser is manipulative, they can make them feel that it is their fault that they're being abused. And when you have such low self-esteem from all of this, it can be difficult to look for help because you may not think you deserve any help. The next one is belief that they are the only one who can help the abuser with their problems. After reading certain material on that, I've read a lot of people who have told stories where they felt this way, especially at the beginning. The reason why they stayed to get so far into a relationship is they see their abuser as someone who is suffering with a lot of issues, maybe the issues mentioned before, maybe something else that they're not sure, and they feel that they're the only one that can, quote unquote, save them. They feel that if they stay and stick through the pain of being in this relationship, they can eventually get the person that they maybe fell in love with, the person that they grew to like at the beginning. They may also feel that leaving the abuser would be abandoning them. This is their chance to save them, and that if they leave and abandon them, they'll forever be this way, be tormented, or whatever's going on in their life. It's also situational. So this is more of them feeling like they are physically trapped. And there's three listed up here. The first one is economic dependency on the abuser. College students might be able to relate to the fact that sometimes people feel, students, especially younger students, may feel like they're very dependent on their parents. There's things they can't go out and do because they have to make sure their parents keep sending them allowance or helping pay for their tuition. This can be an extreme case when you're in an abusive relationship, especially if the abuser is very controlling and keeping their victims or their spouses or the people they're in a relationship with from getting a job, not going out, maybe not even getting an education in order for them to get a job. They may feel that this is the only money they have. If they were to leave, where would they go? What would they pay for? They have no way of building it up. And if they haven't worked in a very long time, they may feel that there's no way for them to start a career now. They're too old, or they just don't have the education required, so they can feel very trapped. The next would be fear of physical harm to self or children. Again, we already talked about the physical harm, and I already talked about how after witnessing it happen over and over and over before, they would fear that it wouldn't be too far-fetched and that it would actually happen again, this time possibly killing. When it comes to children, I've heard a lot of times, people will say, how can you stay in a relationship like this?